Welcome to the 5th installment of the Aquagon, the only show where our attire is as cold as the hot tub we are in. I'm Steel Cage Stu.
I'm Wayne Dave.
And this is the Aquagon. Oh yeah.
Over.
Little spillage there. You know, it's funny. I think if beer is an indicator of the level of show that we're going to have, we might be drinking bush lattes for next week's show. But in any case, welcome back. I hope everyone enjoyed their 4th of July weekend. Time of taping is actually the 6th of July. I was actually going to do, we were going to do a little bit of pyrotechnicians or technics for you here inside the Aquagon, but it is indoor.
Mostly cedar.
So we thought that might not be a good idea, so we might just settle for me sticking a sparkler in Dave's ear and circling it around. We're going to start out with the first fight where we do have AKHMEDOV and who he is on.
Yeah, we took 1 week off, and I'm ready to kick in the first early prelim fight like it's a main event, man. I'm excited about this.
I really am. It's going to be a great card, and I'm not going to lie. These next two gentlemen, of which we will be discussing, it's like watching two avalanches fall as far as their career is concerned. Both coming off 2 losses, but like I've said before, sometimes that makes way for interesting betting. So the first thing I want to kind of go over here, AKHMEDOV, and we're going to start with him. The man, although he has often a 2-fight losing streak, he does have a lot of power. When it comes to who he's on, sorry again with the names, I'm not the best with those. We're going to get better with time, but again, these are tongue twisters, early prelims, just how it's going to go.
It'll be a household name one day.
Yeah, maybe.
Not now, though.
Not now, a different day. But a couple things concern me with him. A, it's a 2-year layoff. And I think when I was looking around, and a lot of the pundits are saying, well, he's the younger fighter. Allen being at 33 years old, him being at 26. Last time I saw him, he was 24. Definitely a lot of room for growth, but also a lot of room for rust.
Yeah,
He fights with the Asian style that we had discussed previously. Not a lot of good movement. In fact, a very low fight IQ. I can see him just standing in there and taking one of these licks for the power. I think it's a pretty good price tag too. Right now, it's sitting at you can get Allen at minus 148 versus Yazong at plus 118. Again, I just think it's one of those situations where you're going to get more of a veteran out there. I guess it's either way, I'm not going to sell this to you. I'm not going to get on my Jolly Roger on this one. Or you still put shit in a wine glass or a champagne glass. It's still shit. But at the end of the day, I think that you're going to land a nice little bet. I think he's a good play on DraftKings too. I do see this one being a knockout, whether it be in the first or the second round. I could maybe make an argument for the first round, coming with a little bit of ring rust.
You think, well, these guys are opening up the show. They're both trying to probably fight for their future in the UFC.
It is 2 career fights, 2 backs against the wall.
They just saw a bunch of fireworks for 4th of July. They're ready to make some sparks.
The one-liners are as cold as the tub we are in as well. Gotta love to see it. No, and I can agree with you more. For me, this is going to be an actual bet for me, so you go ahead and splash that one in on Allen. Let's move up the card here. The next one that I do want to discuss, and I think this is going to be my dog pick of the whole card, believe it or not, and that's going to be OMARI, AKHMEDOV, and Brad Tavares. Now, let me give you guys a couple of angles here. So we're going to start with the line. So we got OMARI, AKHMEDOV at plus 135 at the time of taping, and Brad Tavares at negative 167. Now, this one feels a lot like that teamer pick we gave you a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to give you an example. Now, I know what the big argument is. Tavares, he has very, very, very good takedown defense. Now, AKHMEDOV, he has very good takedowns. In fact, he averages 2.63 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 49% success rate. So, yeah, he's doing it often, and he's succeeding while doing it. Now, maybe the takedown game gets denied. Okay, maybe I can give it that to you with the teamer fight. I think he did a good job of denying it too. But here's the other thing. He's just as good at striking. He's got a vicious calf kick, which opens up a lot of things. This guy has, I think, some of the most power in the UFC as far as just raw strength. I think that's going to show as well. And when these fighters have to focus so much on the takedown defense, it keeps them low, and I think it leaves them open for fire up top. I think you're getting some good value there at plus 135. Again, I'm just not sold on anything that Tavares does. Maybe he has a little bit of power. Maybe his output is average at best, but I think that when you look at if you stack both the fighters' games up by one another, I just don't see a path to victory for him that justifies for that much. I mean, think about this: we're getting negative money if you go there. This is an underdog special.
Yeah, I think Vegas got it wrong on that one. I like that underdog pick there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. So we're going to go ahead and splash that one in. That's going to be the underdog pick of the week. OMARI, AKHMEDOV. He's one of the strongest guys in the UFC again. The takedowns are just going to be there. And we're going to move on down the card. Trevin Giles versus Driscoll Duplessis. I think I might be right on the name pronounce. I even did it
Oh, yeah. Phonetically, we're getting better.
Yeah.
A lot better.
I really think we are. So I don't know that I can offer anyone a sure bet on this. I might want to actually get your take on this, but I do think that there's some interesting things to discuss here. First off, I'm going to start with Trevin Giles. Okay, Trevin reminds me a lot of Kennedy Nzechukwu, okay, which, by the way, was the only bet I got wrong last week. Of any of the bets, I actually hit a 5-bet parlay. We put that on there. It'll probably be in the show notes below. Please like and subscribe.
I even went back. You know what? Aquagon was 6 for 7. We were saying 5 for 6. We were actually 6 for 7.
Shameless plug.
What a week.
Circling back to the pick stuff. So here's the thing with Trevin Giles. Nothing about, I love that he's a cop. He is on a 3-fight win streak, so I do think all these things are very interesting.
He's one of our boys in blue.
Yeah, he's, shout out to all the police out there. My issue with him is I'm just not sold on his fight IQ. I think his sheer athleticism, has bought him a lot of wins and got him to where he is. I do wonder if he might be a little bit in over his head as far as talent and understanding of the game goes.
I can kind of see what you're saying. I was watching his last fight, and he was kind of out there, and it looked like he was just waiting to put the hurt on this guy. I mean, the positions that he was putting himself in, I think he just knew he was outmatching him. I think he was only a minus 110 favorite on his last match. But, I think as soon as he got out there, he knew he had the power. He knew he was going to get this guy sooner or later. And it ended up coming, and he did finish him. But I can see what you're saying. Like, he did put himself in some positions that if you put that, yourself in that position with somebody who knows what they're doing a little bit more than this last opponent that he had, you're going to be in trouble. You think this Duplessis is...
Well, there's a couple things. There's a couple angles of attack here. So Trevin Giles has gotten in trouble with the front guillotine choke before.
Okay, so
and Duplessis has a very, very good squeeze on that.
Okay.
And he likes to do it. He likes to go to it. I can see Trevin Giles overexerting himself, going too forward. He likes to throw, a lot of combos, which I think is good for output. When it comes to maybe if he outpoints him and it has to go to the judges, I don't really see it going to the judges. I actually think if I was going to sprinkle anything in, I would go to Duplessis by submission. I don't know. I don't have the line on that for you, but just thinking out loud as I'm doing this time of taping, I do think it might be a good.
I'm reading some good plus money on that.
Might be a little sneak and scratch there.
We'll put it up on the Jumbotron.
Yeah, we'll get it out there for you. Either way, I think Duplessis had a very nice knockout. He got the guy at the back of his ear. Some would say it's dumb luck, but when you kind of backlog it, he's had a few knockouts in his career before the UFC doing just that. So when you look at the tape on this, the only thing that does scare me, again, he could get outpointed if it's just an all-out war and it goes to the end and he doesn't, hit him in a guillotine or any type of chokes. But, at the same time, I think that, Giles might just put himself in a position where, I think that he's going to get attacked on the legs. I think Duplessis puts a pretty good calf kick out there, which might take some of the movement that Giles has out of his game. And from there, I think it's just going to be his game for the taking. I'm not going to put an official pick on it just yet, but I do think that one's interesting to watch. As we get closer to fight day, I might put a TikTok out there or update the channel as we come along. But I don't know if you have a horse in that race or no?
Man, I think that's a pass for me too. It looks like DraftKings got them both at minus 112 right now. So
you're basically getting them as a pick.
Yeah.
So if you feel strong, maybe if I sold you enough one way or the other, feel free to go with it. I think I might like to see if the line moves one way or the other before I pick. Because again, like I said, Giles is very quick. He's always throwing combos, albeit they could be a little bit sloppy at times, but there's still a lot of output you're going to get from him. And, I will say this, Duplessis, he didn't, it might have been, it was his debut, he had a little bit of ring rust, maybe, a little Octagon, scared, getting the jitters out.
Yeah,
He didn't start as fast as I wanted to, but, he did finish it, and that's what really ultimately matters. Who gives a shit how you start? It's always how you finish, especially in the fight game. Last impression on a judge, too. But, I don't know. It's food for thought. Want to sprinkle it in there.
That's a fun fight, though.
Yeah, definitely a fun fight. Let's move on down the card. So we talked at this one pretty much ad nauseum last week, so there's not much difference to deliver. In fact, I don't think the line moved much. Ryan Hall actually went more the other way. He went to plus 192. So if you liked him when I was giving to you, I believe at plus 150, you're definitely going to love Ryan Hall. Lilia Poirier, again, I just don't know what justifies this line. He's damn near at 2 and a hook at this point. I don't see what the justification for is. It is, how do you train for it? How do you even match when you look at this as a matchmaker, or you look at this as trying to defend for him? What's your plan of attack?
That's a good question. That's why I don't understand this line one bit still. I know you said the other one was the dog pick of the week, but at damn near plus 200, I think Ryan Hall is, a co-dog pick of the week.
I would agree.
You got someone that no one wants to sign the fight with. I mean, we said this ad nauseum, like you're saying, and then as soon as a nice, young, scrappy guy signs a fight with him, Vegas has got him as the favorite. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You don't want to go on the ground with this guy. He can beat you if you don't go on the ground with Ryan Hall. What do you do?
When I look at Poirier too, I see a guy, and right when it's like he's probably riding high. He might get him down. He might actually make the mistake of ground pounding. If you look at Hall's last couple of fights, the guys won't even touch his ground game. They won't even do it. He offers it all the time. People won't even, they're not fucking with him on the ground. I can see this guy, a young gunner, saying, maybe he might land a nice punch. He might try to get on top of him and say, all right, I got this guy. And right then, that's when you've made the biggest fucking mistake of your life. Again, I know that this guy is a world beater. I know that this guy deserves to be here, and I know that there's a lot of hype around this guy, and I know a lot of people are probably pounding him. I mean, hell, the line's moving upward. Now, that could be a sign of two different things. A lot of the smart money's went there, or Vegas is just trying to tilt the lines. I don't know what the case could be here. I'm just telling you that I'm Hall. I was Hall last week, and I'm more Hall this week. You're just getting more value for it.
Oh, yeah. Hall all day.
Vegas moving the line didn't change my mind on this one. However, like I always say, sign Vegas. Hotels aren't getting any smaller. That whole wrap there. But there's probably not much different I have to report on this one that I didn't already.
Yeah, I mean, we really broke it down. You can see the link in the description of the last video. We really did a good job talking about that one.
But I just think the ground game, when it comes to the grappling abilities of Hall, it's just too much to handle, and it's too much output. I mean, he doesn't stop. He controls the fight from start to finish. I just don't see, I don't see him losing this one, and I'm getting plus money. I couldn't be more happy of the outcome. This next one, as we move on down the card, is actually one of my favorite fights to watch on this card, believe it or not, outside of the main event. We have NIKO Price coming against Michel Pereira.
That's got to be fight of the year contender right there. These guys are two entertainers.
They really, really are. Now listen, I know the outtake on Michel Pereira. He's in there, he's jumping around like Richard Simmons, and it's costing him some fights. I do believe that even though you're getting him right now at the time of taping at negative 162, I think that's good fucking value. I really do. I think his 11 losses is a farce.
11 losses?
Yes, true that, but the thing is, the guy is an entertainer. Now, when you look at his last fight, it looks like he calmed that down a bit. I think he's growing. He's growing in that. I've said this before. When we first watched him fight, he was doing all the backflips.
He lost to that Canadian that took the fight on short notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was doing all the backflips. He was doing. I was like, this guy is a sheer maniac. He is an absolute monster. He's one of the most athletic guys in the UFC. I think he actually has a pretty good fight IQ outside of the fact that he's a dumbass with the flips and overexerting his energy.
Right.
I think he focuses too much on being an entertainer in some circles. But outside of that, if you look at his sheer athleticism and power, there's nobody that even matches with maybe Usman. A lot of his losses did come at 180. He is fighting at 170 now. I think that was a good shift for him. He was even big at the 180. Now he's even bigger at 170. And he just outmans people. He's way more athletic than people. Now, NIKO Price.
Man, well, with him coming down weight class 2, you got to worry about his gas tank, which was already kind of in question. And NIKO Price, I know you were about
he can beat you anywhere.
stuff on NIKO Price.
NIKO Price can beat you fucking anywhere. He can beat you from the ground. He can beat you on top. You've seen him, and you know, at first you're like, oh, maybe that was just a lucky strike or a lucky situation.
Right.
He continues to do it.
Well, you're going to have a hard time finding anyone that has a better highlight reel than NIKO Price. I mean, the way he puts people to sleep, the way he chokes people out, the way he knocks them out. I mean, the way he finishes fights is just entertaining. I can watch it all day. I mean, he's hooking people's heads with his foot and hammer fisting them from his back. He's choking people out off to the side and crazy. I mean, it almost looks like what George said, or not, OSP's choke. Why can't I think of the name of it? Levon Flu, yeah. He's almost looking like he's putting people on Levon Flu's, but he's doing it his own way. I mean, everything he does is just entertaining.
He almost uses that angle to like control the ground game. He almost enjoys it. I don't think he's actually going for the choke. I think he's just doing it to try to control the position.
Okay.
Maybe I mean, if the choke is there, but he uses it. I mean, he doesn't just sit there and say stagnant, what you actually like if you're looking for, you know, to try to get someone to outpoint someone at the end of the round. Whatever the case may be, though, again, circling back to Michel Pereira, I mean, the guy is just an absolute maniac. You can totally sense that he outmatches people when he is focused. Bet at your own risk, though. Because I'm telling you right now, he could get in there. I believe there is going to be fans for the first time that might give him a little bit of hype. He might even throw in a couple of backflips in there.
Yeah,
who knows? He might think it's the Summer Olympics again. I have no fucking idea what you're going to get. But if he doesn't do that, if he's changed his ways on that, I almost think the guy's damn near unbeatable. You know what I mean? Because that that would hurt anyone's gas tank, let's be fucking honest. But at the end of the day, what he does is he's so much stronger, so much more athletic. If he's channeling all that energy into sheer fighting, I don't see the guy lose. I think he could compete with the best of them. I'm not going to give some bold take and say he'd be beating Usman at this juncture. Right. But I am telling you, he is. I do think that his record doesn't necessarily tell the full story of Michel Pereira, in my opinion.
I hear you. I think I'm gonna have to take the other side of this one. I got NIKO Price. I think he can weather the storm early, and man, he's gonna finish this guy from anywhere he needs to do it from. I got NIKO Price all day. I think he's a good one to, inside.
You're just the dog money there.
Dog money.
I don't think it's awful, but we are going to be on opposite ends of the spectrum on this one. I'm going to stand in the line of Vegas. I'm going to go with them. We're going to go Pereira, cash that one in on my side. He's going to go NIKO Price. I'm interested to see it. No matter what happens, I don't think they can put the fucking under low enough for me not to put that one too on a side note. We will put I'm sure you're not getting positive money on that.
How will you put a poll down underneath? We'll see.
Whatever the fans want to think on that one. I'm very interested, but no matter what, from start to finish, whenever finish is, as quick as finish is, that's a little cliffhanger there. I do think it's going to be a very entertaining fight and a nice lead into the main or to the main card.
The main card, wow.
We're already there.
Man, I've been focusing a lot on this main card, a lot of good fights. We got kind of robbed with Sean O'Malley losing his opponent.
We did. I think his new opponent, let's see here. Look, again, bad at names. Chris Martino.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is, it's his UFC debut. Obviously, they pulled him in on short notice. There was some speculation. I saw some stuff on the internet of people like, oh, they're just padding him up. Like, listen, at the end of the day, we're not going to blame Sean O'Malley for this. He was there. His opponent was not.
Yeah.
They're backfilling it. He's the big name. We have a marquee vet. First-time fans in Vegas. They got to fill it with something. Now, I am going to tell you right now and here, this is an absolute no bet. Not in a fucking parlay, not in anything. You're at negative 850 if you're betting with Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, he really can't get any value out of that.
You're past the puncher's chance at this point. Like, it's almost worth. And it's like, I know Vegas is like begging you to do it at like plus 560. Yeah, you're getting plus 565 going to Chris. Sprinkle a nickel 25 on it. I don't know. Do something with it at that. Maybe he kicks him in the shin. You see a freak accident, which we've seen happen before.
Just pray for his foot to fall asleep.
And I don't have much to offer on Chris as far as that goes, besides the line is just fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's just UFC debut.
Yeah.
Kind of like a unknown, let's say.
I know that he's a brawler. I know that he's not much of a kicker, so if you're looking for the kick angle into the leg, just go out O'Malley's leg. I don't know that you're going to find me, offering that one up as a path to victory. But listen, for plus 565 versus minus 850, I would never say to put that on a parlay or anything.
It's not going to move the needle on your parlay.
There's just nothing you can do with that. It's almost like a no bet. If anything, I'd have to put it as a dog or pass. And hell, depending on how many, barley pops I have that night, maybe we will sprinkle 25 on that, just to see what happens.
If he looks like he's we've talked about this before. If he looks like he's the horse that's shitting and he's going out there with full of confidence, I'm sure O'Malley's going to be taking him lightly. And if we could get a little bit of plus money, it'd be fun to throw. We're already going to be up probably $500-600 by the time we get to the main card anyway.
And think about what an opportunity this guy has. I mean, I want you to think about this. I mean, probably for all we know, last week he was selling cars, used cars.
I don't think he's a full-time fighter.
You're probably not a full-time fighter. You get the call to be on the marquee event, first-time fans in Vegas. Conor McGregor.
The most eyeballs.
You are on the main show. You got that call. Why not go in there? Let's just swing for the fence and see what happens. Kill or be killed. If there was ever a time you score a knockout against Sean O'Malley, you just skipped years of getting in that cage
your whole life.
Your next paycheck. I mean, it is a crazy opportunity. And listen, sometimes people rise to the occasion. Who knows?
And if you give it your all and you put on a good show and you get KO'd by O'Malley, the UFC's going to scratch your back for you helping them out.
Absolutely. They're going to give you a nice paycheck, a nice payday on your next one. Hell, you'll probably, you knock Sean O'Malley out. I don't care. Just the sheer difference in talent pool that get that knockout for an underdog story. You're definitely getting the knockout of the night bonus.
And that division needs stars.
They really do.
You make your name on beating someone like him.
So if there's a lot of opportunity there. Again, we spent an awful amount of time on Chris. We can't even say his fucking last name. That's how much we don't know about him. But we spent a lot of time talking about him. By no means do we think he's going to win this fight.
But bet on him anyway. Let's just do it.
I'm just telling you, when you look at the line, fuck it. Put sprinkle a 5 or 25 on it. However,
bet on the guy.
Sean O'Malley's probably going to win this one. If you're going to do it, parlay it with a knockout first round or something along those lines. I think the longer it goes, I think the under knockout, Sean O'Malley, do everything in conjunction with one another to find some type of value on this. But Sean O'Malley straight up, Sean O'Malley in any type of parlay with another fighter, just it's a waste of your time. I'm not going to offer that up to people. We are going to have a guest appearance. Coming right from underneath the tub, we are going to bring you Kate, the baddest bitch around.
Oh, she is a bad bitch.
Oh,
where'd you come from?
Didn't see you there.
There's some rough water out there. Got those jets on full blast. Hey, everybody. Coming at you with a pick for ladies on the main card. We got Irene Aldana and Yana Kuditskaya.
Ooh, she's a little better at the names than us, Dave. That's what they pay her for.
Yep. So this is going to be a close one. There's a lot of things similar about these ladies, similar records. A lot of them, both of them have lost most of their fights to big names. We got number 4, we got number 5, we got close betting odds. So what it comes down to for me, both of these ladies, their most recent wins were against Caitlin Vieira. And 2 very different fights here. For Irene, we had a KO finish in the first round, and boy, let me tell you, she knocked her dead. And then for Yana, we had a decision that I don't know who was scoring that decision, you guys. Those judges. You can't leave it to the judges, right?
I think that's a very good point. I didn't think that it was a very convincing win when I watched it. And she did overcome a little bit of adversity in there, which you like to see, but I wasn't that impressed.
I was watching the replay, and I feel like most of the time, Yana either had her back on the mat or against the cage, so I was not convinced. And Irene, she's got some power, so I gotta go with Irene with this one. And to add on to that, I think Irene's gonna finish her. So the under here, 2.5 rounds, will give you plus 225. I think Irene with the under, that's the way to go.
Listen, you got a small sample size, but the same sample being the same fighter in the last 2 picks. And the way that I see it is, this is damn near at a pick-em. As I pull this up here, you're getting -100 versus -120, so it's about as close to a pick-em as you're going to see it. I think you just take the fighter that was able to finish the job in the last fight against the same competitor. So we splashing this one? We're going to actually place that one back?
Oh, that one's it.
Ooh, then we're going to want to splash that one in. We appreciate Kate, the baddest bitch around, for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, I've been seeing on DraftKings a lot of these with the captain. Who are you taking for your captain on the DraftKings this week?
Woo, if I have to give you a captain, listen, I think it's got to be Hall. It's got to be Hall.
Oh,
I can see Hall, see him getting a finish in this fight, and he's actually extremely good value. If we're going to stay in that same vein, he's definitely going to be in my lineup. Probably would put him on a couple of captain modes.
so you're taking a dog as a captain. A lot of people aren't going to be having the balls to do that. So
Yeah.
once he gets a good finish, you're going to be skyrocketing to the top of that lineup.
Listen, if you're talking about how you got to progress this lineup, listen, Sean O'Malley, you know you're getting a knockout there. I mean, let's just be fucking real with yourself. Now, and it's probably going to be an early knockout. You have to save room in your lineup to put him in there,
Right.
which means you're going to have to score some mega underdogs. I think Hall, Condit are two people that are a good opportunity for you to put in there. I think AKHMEDOV that I gave you earlier in the show, I think he's a very good pick to put in there. These guys, I think, can get the win. Maybe one or two of the lot. Maybe you might score 2 out of 3, as Meatloaf said. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. We'll get you, score you some knockout points. Who knows? But let's just say all 3 of them just win by decision. They just outpoint. They didn't hurt you, and that left room for a couple of nice, heavy hitters that are on this card that you're going to score good on.
I got you.
But yeah, I think that would be how I would be structuring my DraftKings lineup.
I like it.
All right, Greg Hardy and TUIVASA. Boy, oh boy, is this an entertainment one. I still don't know where I want to go with this one. I am going to talk it through with the people. I'm going to offer my take. I am interested in your take. I want to start with Greg Hardy. Now, Greg Hardy, I know that his last fight, he kind of looked, like he didn't know what he was doing. He got taken down a lot. Looked a little out of his element. Even looked a little bit gassed, but I don't think that's necessarily a testament from what we have seen. So here's my angle with Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy, when he is fighting someone that's just a straight striker, he outmuscles him. Greg Hardy, I know that he got in the game a little bit late. He coming from the football background, but that strength and athleticism is very apparent in the majority of his fights. He keeps people on the cage and he holds them there, and there is literally nothing they can fucking do. Now, obviously, when he fights a wrestler, that takes a lot of his game, a lot of the wind out of his sail. I don't think he's very good at grappling. Grappling is an art. It's a learned thing. It's very difficult to kind of get a grasp on as early on, as long as Greg Hardy has been doing this. With that being said, TUIVASA, to me, isn't the guy that's going to go, you ain't going to see TUIVASA going in there shooting double legs on Greg Hardy. Right? You know what I mean?
No, I see what you're saying. And I was thinking, when I'm looking at this fight, I don't see him doing that. I don't see a lot of things happening. I think Ty TUIVASA is a little bit overrated. He's coming out of the camp from Mark Hunt. I think a lot of people think of him as like a mini Mark Hunt, something like that. Mm-hmm. He's just not that guy. He's got nice tattoos. Give me the tattoos in my loins.
Yeah.
But, I like you were saying, man, Greg Hardy can take a beating. I mean, he played in the NFL. He's learning for every time he makes a fight. He doesn't give up. He still shows up. Every time I see him get beat, I think he's going to be done. But this guy keeps on showing up. He's working on these weaknesses. And sooner or later, this shit's going to click for him. And when you have an elite, world-class athlete, like he might be the top of the top tier of actual...
Like sheer athleticism.
Yeah,
we're not talking MMA IQ. There is a difference between the two.
And sooner or later, sometimes these things, when they click, they click. And when it clicks, he's going to be a monster. And I'm sure he's been back to the drawing board. He doesn't give up. It's going to take a fucking Mack truck to knock this dude out. I think Greg Hardy's going to make it happen. Now, do I think this may have the potential to be the most boring fight of the night? I do.
100%.
But it also could be the most electrifying. I'm going to take Greg Hardy here.
I think you bring up some good points. Now, listen, TUIVASA has, guy has power. I think he's pretty active. I do think that he showed some gas tank issues of late. I think he does slow down later in fights, which is a big concern for me. The other thing, too, I think it's just a bad matchup for him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Greg Hardy, I know the inhaler gate and everything like that, but Greg Hardy actually doesn't show a bad gas tank. Right. He actually shows a very good ability to grind, control the octagon for 15 minutes. Maybe not very frequently. I don't think. I'm not going to go too much on the Greg Hardy train. I think he's more of a facade than anything else. Puppet for the UFC. I do agree with you on the athleticism part. I mean, that has bought him a lot of brownie points. There's no question. I think frequently you won't see me bet with him. I'll probably find myself fading him more. But I just like this matchup for him. Okay. I really do.
Yeah.
You talk about the power. I think he's just going to have TUIVASA up against the cage. You might even see him get a little saucy and get a takedown in there and just ground and pound him, hold him on the ground for a little bit. I don't see a knockout happening. I no matter what the over price is, I love the over in this one. I just see them both just going. Greg Hardy, you couldn't knock him out with a crowbar, let alone a fist with a glove on it, in my opinion. So, that's kind of my take. I am going to go ahead and splash this one in for Greg Hardy as well. So we are going to be on the same side on this one, so I can appreciate that. But it also has the makings. This might be one where you go make your next drink while it's playing, because I don't see it being very entertaining. I see Greg Hardy just kind of laying on him, controlling the fight, landing more output. Obviously, I haven't seen quite a bit of it. I've seen absolutely no power on Greg Hardy. Yeah. But it's constant output and octagon control, where it's almost like the judges can't not give him. Like even a Florida judge couldn't, in some of these fights could just say, well, what am I scoring with this guy?
Right.
And he just has that much control, which sucks because it's boring to watch. I'm surprised they give him, the marquees as much as they do. Again, that's probably his NFL background, which has to be fading at this point. It could be a make or break for him too, though. I think that the UFC wants to see something out of Greg Hardy. You lost your last one. I don't know that they're going to just let him ride the NFL coattails into the next fight. This would be 2 in a row for him, and you're not a very entertaining fighter to begin with. So we'll see what happens with it.
I want TUIVASA to lose just so I don't have to see him drink a beer out of the shoe. Now, they'll give him the beer, they'll give him the shoe.
He was trying to do it in go.
Yeah, he's a maniac. There's something wrong with those guys over there.
I mean, if you can do that, there's not a lot you can't do. I will give you that. But, again, the beer in the shoe, maybe you want to see him win just to see if he takes someone's shoe out of the crowd and drinks it. But he might even do that in a loss. I mean, this guy might just live that way. I mean, teach their own.
Yeah.
Now, moving on down the line. Now, this is interesting. Gilbert Burns and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Now, this is the fight I flip-flopped on the most of the whole card.
I really have too.
Okay.
You think, at first glance, if you're just scratching the surface of this puppy, you think Burns all the way. How could Burns lose? I mean, he's got the jiu-jitsu. I think he's probably overall the more well-rounded fighter. Can't talk. The karate style really only suits, like you were saying pre-show, it only really suits someone like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. But I just don't know, man. The thing that the problem I have is that Usman fight. I mean, I feel like sometimes you see this, and those watching know exactly what I'm talking about. People get their soul sucked out of them. They take a knockout that is so hard, it 100% sticks with them in the next fight. And you almost can just tell, you almost get that sense, like, he just doesn't have it.
No, I'm a big proponent of getting your soul sucked out of you. I'm sure you've done it before with that move. But, getting hammered with a piston jab and losing consciousness, that can take your soul out of you.
Yeah. And I was someone I was a big, I was actually, I'll just full disclosure, moment of vulnerability, I loved the price you were getting for Burns versus Usman, and I went with, not to make this about Burns and Usman,
right?
But I think it is relevant to what could potentially happen. That is my one issue, and as I'm talking this through, I think you got to go with Wonderboy on this one. I really do. I think that I followed him a great deal. I think that he's training really hard for this, as he should be. It's like always an interesting comment, like training hard. Well, they're in the fucking UFC, they should be.
Yeah, they're training.
But let's be real. You can tell when people are just in there cashing checks on their name right before they hit Bellator Row, right, and those that are not. And I just don't. I think Stephen Wonderboy Thompson still has a lot of gas left in the tank.
He's making a new run. He's not just some guy that's fighting into his late 30s. He's actually making a run. Now, see, I think my journey on this fight was a little the opposite of yours. I came in, thinking that Wonderboy, sharp striker, looking good coming into this fight. He's got a lot of wins behind him, maybe some money coming up into this fight. Then I started thinking, Burns, he brings in a karate point guy, one of the best that there is. He's training with him every day. If you had to just think about in MMA, are you going to take the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu star or the karate guy? That's where my mind kind of broke. I was like, I'm never taking the karate guy. Has it ever worked in the past? I don't think so. I mean, Wonder Boy is the exception when it comes to karate. But when Burns is making the adjustments to get used to the karate style, and he's got the jiu-jitsu, which is basically the main skill that you need in MMA. I got to go with Burns here. And you're getting underdog money with him?
So there's two things that I went to that point. And I love the he's bringing in the karate guys into the gym, but that is a double-edged sword if you think about it. Is he going to focus too much on karate? Because karate is an offensive game in my opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? And is he going to focus too much on the karate and fight the style of fight that Wonder Boy would want to fight? The second thing, probably most importantly, Burns was just fighting Usman. And then he comes and fights an older fighter, one that you could maybe argue is on the way out, maybe a step away from Bellator, although I don't think so. You could make that argument.
Right.
And you're getting at this point, you're getting plus 130 on Burns. Does Vegas know something? Vegas is almost fucking scaring me with that.
Yeah.
They're asking you to bet with Burns, which is why I don't want to do it.
Okay. I mean,
it's just
if you like
interesting.
to do those mind games, Vegas is the best at the mind games.
It is interesting. And I still don't know. I guess if I had to do a lean, I'll give you a lean. I'm going to lean Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You know what? Fuck it. It's a main event. First time fans are going to be in Vegas in a very long time. Splash me on Wonderboy Thompson on this one. Splash you on Burns.
I'm going to take Burns.
I guess we're just going to go on the opposite. But again, and this is against everything that I can think about logically. I think, it does appear that he's training hard for this in Burns. It does appear that he has more paths to victory. If it goes to the ground, you think the easiest path to victory is, he takes him down, gets the choke out. And people are saying, but the one thing I will argue to this, people are saying, well, Wonder Boy hasn't fought that many wrestlers. But I'm telling you right now, when he hasn't been taken down that much in his career either. So it's not like his takedown defense has just been non-existent, unlike Carlos Condit. Where Carlos Condit gets taken down by anybody and anything and at all times, which also worries me about it, not to make it about Carlos stuff. So I'm not even on that train. But in either way, when you talk about the line, maybe that he's going to focus too much on the game that Stephen Wonderboy wants to play, and I just think that Wonderboy is doing. I think he's doing a lot better warm up as we get closer to the fight. So I'm going to go with Wonderboy. You're going to go with Burns. Take your pick your poison. I don't think that there's really a wrong way to do this one.
It's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah.
That was going to be a fun fight.
It is going to be a fun fight. I think it's going to be an exciting one and a good one. Now, we did forget the hot sauce, probably because I drank it all. If you watched
Did
last
you
week's
finish it
show.
off last year?
Oh, goodness. We took the governor off that one and just powdered it down. I don't know that I've changed my mind much on how I feel.
We got your diamond right here.
We do have my diamond right here. I am wearing green glasses though as well. So I do want to kind of let you kick this one off and kind of see if your mind's changed, where your head's at. Are you thinking, are we going to go with Conor McGregor?
I had a long weekend. I did a lot of soul searching, and I came to the conclusion that we were wrong. We were dead wrong. Hungry dog runs faster. There's nobody in this world right now that's more hungry than Conor McGregor. Now, does he have $100 million in the bank? Yeah. Woo. Does he just do whatever the hell he wants, whatever? Does he ever need to fight again? No. I think the one thing that Conor McGregor can't buy is his pride. And that's the one thing that's going to that put him to where he needs to be this week. He changed this whole idea of fight camp off. Has he ever traveled to America and did a fight camp before? I don't think he has. He set up down in SoCal. He's brought in nobody to that camp besides killers. And he is taking this completely seriously. Now, you got Dustin Poirier. He came in last fight ashamed of losing to Conor McGregor last time. Now, he's coming off a knockout win. He's coming off the biggest payday of his whole entire career, making his whole life. Now, you're putting Dustin Poirier in the Conor McGregor position. You're paying this guy something that he's never even thought of dreaming about making from Lafayette, Louisiana. So now we're talking a hungry Conor McGregor. You've seen Conor McGregor come off a loss. What did he do to Nate Diaz? Beat the hell out of him. You got every single thing lining up for Conor McGregor to lull Dustin back into submission and do what he's been doing for years and years and years, coming out like a killer. Now, I am going to have to flip. We're getting the plus 100 on Conor. I'm going Conor McGregor on that.
I am shocked that Conor McGregor crossed the bridge in the opposite direction. Thus far, I thought after a week of bake that it would have moved to Conor.
I thought everyone thought that line was going to move that way.
Now, here's what I'll tell you. Conor sold you just like he sells everyone else, which this does come in different phases. Like I said to you last week, Conor has done more with his mouth than he has with his fists as of late. And that is the reason he still gets to headline fights. I don't know how much frequently you're going to see that happen after this loss, because I am sticking with Dustin Poirier on this one. And it's all for the same reason. So again, I love that Conor, the way that Conor's selling people is, I don't want press, which he said this before. I focus on this. I'm only bringing in killers. Until you fucking follow his Instagram. Up until a month and a half ago, he was staying in resort after resort after resort, drinking his ass off with his proper 12, partying, enjoying the limelight. I agree, he loves the limelight, and it is the one thing that he can't buy, and fighters hate that. But again, the gas tank didn't get better with age. It just simply doesn't. And Conor has had a bad gas tank his whole fucking career, and I think it's only getting worse. I do believe that Conor will make the adjustments on the kicks. But like I said last week, again, I'm not going to be offering you any game-changing news that would be different from last week's show, and maybe you just started watching this week, so maybe it is game-changing. But Poirier isn't known to be just out there to some, gunslinging leg kicker. Right. He's not Jose Aldo in the ring. Right. That was just one, but it does speak to the holes in Conor's game. Now, if you are Conor McGregor and you are going to go on Conor McGregor's side, you got to take it with a first-round knockout, Conor McGregor. Conor will 100% land his shots. He is a southpaw, and he has very crispy punches. There is no questioning that. But Poirier is a dog. Poirier can take hits. You've seen him be in some wars as of late, and he is hungry. And you talk about his hunger. He turned down the fight for the title to take this fight. You think this guy isn't hungry? That should be a testament of everything. He could have just skipped the middleman and just went right for the title and probably won, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think many people are beating Conor and Dustin.
I really don't right now. Maybe Chandler. But I think the current champion, I don't see him. You know what I mean? I think that, Dustin takes that all day. But again, not going to put the focus on that. Conor McGregor, again, he's going to get his strikes, but he's going to gas. I don't think at most he's been training a month and a half for this on the top level, seriously. And that's just not enough time for a fight of this caliber. You're talking about, they are going 5 rounds, I believe. So, you know what I mean? The longer this fight goes, the more you're swinging Poirier. I don't see it going the distance whatsoever. So, I think whatever you think that is, I would say Poirier a 3rd or 4th round TKO knockout. I do think the submission is still in play. I think you're still getting plus 700 for that. Obviously, for me, it's going to be Poirier.
I got Conor still, man.
You got Conor. I do want to say one thing. I want to preface this by saying, I actually believe this or not, and this isn't hyperbole by any means, I would be very happy if I lost this fight.
You'd like to see a Conor win?
I want Conor to win. I'm literally betting with my heart and who I think is going. I'm betting with who I actually believe is going to win the fight and not my heart. But at the end of the day, I think Conor is very good for the sport. I don't know what will happen next for Conor if he loses this. His track record, I just don't know if his mouth can get him any farther in the UFC. Maybe another fight. His one win that he's had in the last couple of years doesn't look like much of a win at all versus Cowboy. So there's a lot of unknowns for Conor if he doesn't pull this one off.
I like it. We were ringside basically when Conor beat up on Cowboy. And that was one of the best things that happened for the sport in the last 2 years. I'm going to stick with Conor here. I'm fading the public. I feel like everybody, he loses the last fight after he beats the hell out of Dustin in the first round, and then everyone turns on him. I think the public's got it wrong. I think that Conor's going to come out, show you why he is Conor McGregor, And I mean, it's going to be the best thing for the sport. It's the best thing for Dustin Poirier. It's the best thing for Conor. It's the best thing for the UFC if Conor wins this fight. There's so many things going into it. Obviously the UFC doesn't have crooked fights, but the closest thing that you could have to the fix being in for Conor, everything's lining up for Conor.
It's a big tipping point. I mean, it's a huge tipping point for Conor because you win this. Yes, you won another fight, but you also won the trilogy, which kind of makes the space look a little bit bigger, if you will, for lack of a better term. I think because of his name, he can put himself as the front runner, considering they were trying to offer Poirier the title shot. Well, now your marquee just beat the guy you were about to offer to, so you just slip him right in, and then Poirier and Chandler would be the next event, the next fight for that. Right. There's a lot that the UFC can do, I think, for the better for the sport if Conor wins, which is why, listen, if I lose, I'm good with that. I am good with that because, I think it's going to be a good thing. Now, I do want to offer you guys my 5-pick parlay that I am putting out there.
Okay, we did hit a 5-pick parlay 2 weeks ago.
Can we go? Can lightning strike twice? I fucking think it can. For plus 3,088, leg number 1, Alan Amedovsky. Leg number 2, OMARI AKHMEDOV. Leg number 3, Ryan Hall. Leg number 4, Michael Pereira. And then obviously rounding out the picks, Dustin Poirier with the main dish of the night, which will score you a plus 3,088 if you hit this one. I'm putting that one in the bank. We will post that one only.
I like it. You know what? And I'm going to give you your props. That was your parlay last week that hit that 5-man. Oh, man, I'm not a parlay guy, but, man, you always are hitting those parlays. But I wanted to jump on the bandwagon, have a little fun. I put a lot of dogs in my parlay. So I'm going to give you a 5-man parlay real quick. I got, what have we got? 33.78 plus 33.78.
A little more value on this one.
A little bit more value. So we're going to go right down the line. I got Jennifer Maia, NIKO Price, Greg Hardy, Gilbert Burns, Conor McGregor. That's 4 out of 5 underdogs. But if that bad boy hits your plus 3,378, I'm not a parlay guy. Maybe I'm crazy putting them in dogs and things, but I want to have a little bit of fun. I see you winning all that money over there. I want to join the party.
You listen, I'll give it to you. When you got some stones for posting that parlay, I am rooting for you through and through. It does sound a little bit like shaking with both hands, but you know what?
I'm going to take yours too, so I can win some money.
Exactly. Well, either way, listen, to each their own. If you're looking for someone to just nail 5 big parlays all day, I ain't your hope there. But we're going to offer them to you anyway. Stay tuned for the next episode, next installment, number 6 of the Aquagon, coming at you live from this hot tub inside the house. See you next week.
See you.